How to make John the wrong way. Now, obviously, there's a lot of videos on YouTube teaching people how to make all kinds of stuff, and John is definitely out there. Kombucha is more popular. But I wanted to show you the wrong way to make John, and to me, it's actually the right way. But I say it's the wrong way because there's so many people out there saying this is the best way, the ultimate way, the only way, and I find that there is no right way to do anything. So I'm going to show you the way that I make it, which somebody might say is wrong, but I make delicious John all the time, and people seem to love it. I seem to love it, so I figured I'd show you what I know. Now, this isn't going to be as step-by-step instructional as some other videos, so if you're someone who's like, I just want to screw this person talking, I just want to follow the steps, boom, 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 other videos out there for you. You can also go look up recipes and just get the quick shebang. But I want to teach you the ins and the outs, the things that people don't talk about in recipes, because recipes are usually just, here's what I do, and good luck. And for me, there's all these nuances to cooking and to making things and fermentation that are often left out. So, what is John? Well, if you know what kombucha is, you probably know what John is. You maybe are interested in John because you've heard it's better for you or it's lighter or whatever it is, but I used to love kombucha. I made it all the time. Since I started making John, I have not made kombucha once. And the reason being is because I just think John is like the champagne of kombucha, and very similar process. They both use a SCOBY, they both have tea, they both have some sort of sugar source. The difference is that typically kombucha is black tea and like cane sugar, and John is green tea and honey. Now, a lot of kombuchas and Johns do a mixture of black and green and different things like that, but I find the green tea is just more mellow, and the honey adds a really nice dynamic flavor, whereas you're not going to get that same thing with cane sugar. To me, it's like, I don't say it's more sophisticated, but it just feels more special. So, step one, which I already did, I boiled some water, about 4 cups of water, and I added 8 tea bags. Now, a couple things to know. It's all ratio based, so however much John you want to make, it all depends on the ratio. I have a little nifty thing right here, I can tell you. So if you're doing a quart, which is, half of these are quarts. If you're doing like a quart size jar, 1 quart would be 2 tea bags and, a 1/4 cup of sugar or honey and 2-3 cups of water. For a gallon, you're doing 8 tea bags, 1 cup sugar. And I find doing a gallon is a good spot to start because it's manageable, and the ratios are pretty simple, where you're basically saying like 8 tea bags to 1 cup of sugar or honey. And the water just kind of is filling up the rest. So this is a SCOBY. Check it out, pretty sweet. One thing that's cool about a SCOBY is every time you make John or kombucha, you get an extra one of these. And I should say, if I didn't already, that John and kombucha have pretty much the exact same process, just slightly different ingredients. And if you have a kombucha SCOBY and you want to make John, you can actually train your kombucha SCOBY over time to feed off of green tea and sugar. So what I did, I actually had a kombucha SCOBY, I slowly did that. So the first time I did it, I did about like 1 part or 3/4 sugar, 1/4 honey, and then I did a couple batches and slowly increased the honey, and then now it can totally feed off of honey, which is pretty cool. So I have this. I also have my SCOBY liquid in here. And the liquid, wow. Okay, so here's a key thing. A lot of people don't really understand this. It took me a while to get this, and if you can get this, it will change the way you ferment. Understanding what fermentation is, understanding what sour is, the flavors that come out. So when I start, I have this stuff right here, right? This is a lovely, lovely green tea that's being brewed. So once I brew it to the level that I like, and I can brew it very mellow, and it can be a mellow green tea, or I can really brew the fur junkies out of it and make it a stronger green tea. That's up to you. Once you make your green tea, you're basically making a sweet tea. So you're adding honey to this, and then you're adding your SCOBY and some leftover liquid. And the leftover liquid from the John or the kombucha is what adds the acidification. And then as the SCOBY eats those sugars and it ferments, it turns it more and more sour. So you get to decide, here's the cool thing, you get to decide how sour you want it, but there's a line. It starts out as sweet green tea. As it ferments over the days, it gets more and more sour. Now what's cool about John is it ferments faster typically than kombucha. So keep that in mind, that it actually is a faster ferment. So if you're like, oh, I really like drinking John or kombucha and I want more and more, John's a quicker process. So you start out with a sweet tea. Keep this in your mind. Imagine a sweet tea, add some John or kombucha that's plain with the SCOBY. SCOBY feeds off that tea and the sugars and makes it more and more sour. So after 4 or 5 days, you start tasting it, and if it tastes sour to the way you like it, great. If you let it go, it'll get more and more sour. Eventually, it's going to turn into a full-on vinegar. So this SCOBY and John liquid, which is a lot right now, it's been sitting for a while, and it's actually completely turned into vinegar. So I have John vinegar, which I also like to do. I'll make a big batch. I'll make like 2 gallons sometimes. I'll use half of it, harvest half of it for sodas, and John drinks. I call it like it's like a soda basically, just more better. And then I let the rest ferment, and then I end up with vinegar. I love making vinegar out of all sorts of things. It's a very simple process. So just to keep that in mind. So this tea is done. I've had it maybe brewing for 10 minutes. That feels good to me. And now I'm going to strain it. Well, we'll give you the old 1-2 look at a Jew. Look at a Jew. I guess I'm the Jew in this situation. Okay, so that's pretty good, right? There you go. By the way, I switched my phone. Aja inspired me to do this to grayscale, so it's all in black and white. And if I'm filming this, I mean, you'll see it in color, but to me it looks black and white, and it's just been kind of a game changer. It just makes my phone experience a lot more just simple and like old-timey. Let's see here, let's get that straight. Okay, so in here goes my green tea, right? Just a little green tea. And now I'm going to add about a cup of honey. I'm just going to eyeball it. From my experience of fermentation, fermentation is a beautiful process, and when you kind of understand the basics of it, you can improvise. I always say start with measuring and stuff until you get a good sense of what's going on. But I have a pretty good sense of around what a cup is of honey. And if it's more, if it's extra sweet, no big deal. No big deal. And I'll also, I'm going to mix this around, and as the honey dissolves, I'll be able to taste the honey tea mixture and just get it to a spot that I like. So one thing that is crucial is mix this around until it melts, and then let it cool at least to like 90 degrees or so before adding your SCOBY, or you could kill your SCOBY. It's dissolved. I'm going to add some more water to get it to around that gallon mark. And then once this feels kind of lukewarmy, and the cold water will obviously drastically change the temperature. It feels good to me though. Gonna add some of the SCOBY liquid, not all of it, but a cup or so. Add my SCOBY, and one thing that's cool about SCOBYs is every time you make John, you get an extra SCOBY. So I wouldn't include that SCOBY. I actually gave mine away recently, and there's even a little bit more right now because of the process that I've been going in. Let's see how it's feeling. Feeling good. So the beauty of this, every time you make this, you get an extra SCOBY, which means you can do different things with the SCOBY. Some people like to give the SCOBY away. You give some liquid and SCOBY, and you could end up with your own, with your friend having SCOBY as well. And you can teach a man to fish, or you can give a man some fish, or you can teach a man to fish. If that makes sense. So if you give your friends John, then maybe they'll have some they can share with you. The other cool thing about additional SCOBYs is you can blend them into smoothies. You can, I'll blend them with fresh fruit and dehydrate them and make like a SCOBY fruit roll-up. When I dehydrate it and feed it to the chickens, they go buck wild. They love, it's insane, they love the SCOBY. Now I have this cool fermenter here, which has a spigot at the bottom. Let's see what the temperature is. Oh, look at that. 86 degrees. So I'm going to taste a little bit. I just like to get a sense of what we're doing here. Wow. It already, the amount of SCOBY, because this, or my liquid right here, is already very sour. So it's already developing a little bit of sourness. This is why I say to start with like the suggested ratios, and then you can start to improvise once you get it. Because I've done this long enough where I just kind of have a sense of how it works. But if you don't, there are things that can go wrong. A few things to consider. Try not to move this. Every time you move this, like once you make it, set it somewhere, set it, don't forget it, but set it and don't touch it. Every time you move it around and agitate the SCOBY, it kind of has to reacclimate itself, so it tends to delay the process. But as long as you don't see any kind of weird fuzzy stuff and molds on top, you should be good. And you know, usually I've never really had any problems. I've heard some people that do, but it's quite easy to make. And then basically you let this thing sit for quite a while, 4 or 5 days, and then start tasting it. And once that's done, maybe I'll do a flavoring video separately. Once the John is done, and once you've tasted it, and you know what you'll notice is you'll taste it and be like, oh, kind of sweet. And then a few days later, taste it again, and it's like, oh, it's starting to get sour. When it feels to a level of sourness that you like, and you could keep it sweet if you like it more sweet. Once it gets that level that you like, then you either just bottle it and drink it, or excuse me, add fruits and herbs and different things. Oh God. And bottle it. See what just happened? So when you, this is an open vessel right now, but when you ferment it for a second time, which is called the second ferment, take bottles like this, add fruits and things, herbs, whatever, then you cap it, and then as it continues to ferment, the carbon dioxide cannot escape, and that is what turns into these beautiful air bubbles. So this is actually banana. I used dehydrated bananas that we made. I've got pine, which is really good when this one's almost done. You can hear that, and that's why I kind of call it like a soda. It's like a new age soda. This is just pine needles from trees out there. Pine needles in this bottle. Very simple. Capped, let it sit 3-4 days, and then what you do is you start burping it every day, and it'll start to get more and more carbonation until it gets to the point where you like it. Then you can either drink it or put it in the fridge, and that's all she wrote. So I'm going to let this John chill for a while, enjoy itself, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will be in touch. Take care.